Boy Who Cried Wolf, written by Jess Stockham. There once was a small boy who looked after the village sheep up in the summer pasture, even though he didn't always feel like it. "Do I have to?" he asked. "Yes, otherwise the wolf will get the sheep," said the villagers. "You're the best shepherd we have. We can't trust anyone else as much as we trust you." "It's not fair," cried the boy. "I want to stay and play with my friends here in the village. There's nothing to do up in the mountains. It's so boring." "Take a book," replied the villagers, "or your flute, or a paintbrush." "They are all boring too," whined the little boy, as he set off up the hill behind the sheep. The days were long and the boy had nothing to do apart from watching the sheep. "I'd wish I brought some books," he thought, "or my flute." He tried to play tag with the rabbits, but they were too quick for him. He tried to climb with the goats, but they were too nimble. He tried to talk to the sheep, but they were too busy eating the lush summer grass. One morning the boy looked down the valley and heard the distant laughter of the other children as they played on the village green. "I'm so lonely," he thought. "If only I can make them all come up here. Suppose I pretended a wolf was after the sheep. That would make them come." Without further ado, the boy got to his feet and shouted at the top of his voice, "Wolf! Wolf!" He watched with glee as the villagers and their children ran from their houses and up the steep and rocky slopes towards him. They finally arrived, panting and dripping with sweat. "Are you all right?" they asked. "What happened to the wolf?" "I'm fine," answered the boy, grinning. "I shouted and it ran away." "It might come back," they replied. "We'll stay for a while to make sure everything is safe." The boy had a lovely time playing with his friends in the sun, but eventually they all went home. It seemed even quieter the next day. The boy was very, very bored. He climbed a tree. He juggled with some pebbles. He threw sticks in the stream. He made a daisy chain. Before long, however, he could bear it no longer. He called down to the village at the top of his lungs. "Wolf!" he shouted. "Help! There's a wolf! Help!" This time, some of the villagers stayed at home. Those who ran up the slopes were hot and cross. "Where's the wolf?" they asked. "Are you sure you saw one? Why don't the sheep look more frightened? Are you playing tricks on us?" This time they did not stay long. As soon as they were satisfied there was no wolf, they started back down the hill, grumbling and suspicious. The next day the sheep were unsettled, running here and there, bleating noisily. The boy stared across the pasture, trying to see what was wrong. All of a sudden the hairs on the back of his neck stood up. There was a wolf, a real one. It was creeping towards the flock from the other side of the pasture. Quickly, the boy ran to the edge of the cliff and shouted to the villagers as loudly as he could. "Wolf! Wolf!" he yelled. "A real one this time! Help! A wolf!" But no one came. Some of the villagers turned to look up the hill. They shook their heads and went on with their jobs. The children carried on playing. The boy shouted again and again, but after a while, no one even turned to look. The boy rescued a tiny lamb from the wolf's jaws. He tried to frighten the beast away, but it was too big and too fierce. The sheep took to their heels and ran for their lives up and down dale. Only then did the wolf slink back into the woods. Exhausted and tearful, the boy climbed down from the pastures and trudged miserably into the village, carrying the baby lamb. There was a wolf, he explained between sobs, and it scared all the sheep, so they ran away. The little lamb is all I have left. Please believe me, I'm telling the truth this time. The villagers took pity on the boy. We thought you were playing tricks on us again, they explained. Never mind, we'll help you round up the sheep in the morning. But tell the truth in the future, they added, or no one will trust you ever again. The end. Comprehension questions. Why didn't the villagers believe the little boy when there was a real wolf? What is trust? What do you think the lesson is to be learned from this story?